what's up YouTube? For today's video, with a full Murkrow evolution team, I'll be using 2 Murkrow and 2 Honchkrow on today's video. I've got 4 abilities to work with. So we got Insomnia, Super Luck, Prankster, and Moxie. Prankster and Moxie obviously being the best 2 out of the 4 there. This team had quite a lot of weaknesses, but it was pretty fun to use actually and see how much I could squeeze out of some of these sets. What do you guys think of Murkrow and Honchkrow? Let me know in the comment section. Do you like these Pokemon? Do you hate them? Give me all your thoughts there about them. I don't mind them. They're pretty interesting Pokemon. First random battle here, we have a nice Mimikyu lead. So obviously a very, very big counter to this team. We got a Life Orb Mimikyu as well. So my first Murkrow is going to get murked. We're going to go into the second one. This is a Tailwind Dank Pulse Heatwave Air/Flinching set. So first things first, I'm going to set up the Tailwind there. And I've only got 4 Pokemon to use against these teams too. So Mimikyu is going to be setting up a Sword Dance behind the disguise. So they're going full sweat mode here. They did bring 4 Pokemon along though. I mean, they brought all 4 counters, but you know, I digress. So we got the disguise there. It's going to get busted. And Mimikyu is going to go for Play Rough and take out my Murkrow. So instantly half my team has been melted away. Now, my next Pokemon here, I was thinking would be quite a good matchup for us. So I'm going to bring in my Honchkrow here. So this is the PIMPNITE special set, and it's a physical set, and it's actually quite good in the right situation. So we're going to be going for Swagger on the Mimikyu, increasing its attack already. So it doesn't really matter if it's got +4 attack or +2 attack. I'm going to lose regardless, right? So I need to shake things up, and I need to see if I can get around this. So I'm going to increase my attack by 2 stages, and I'm hoping Mimikyu will hit itself in confusion. And it went for Play Rough, and it missed. I was like, okay, that'll do, you know. So I got that +2 in attack. Now I've got Acrobatics, and Acrobatics is going to be pretty powerful as well, because now I don't have an item. So I'm going to go for Night Slash, and that is going to be the end of the Mimikyu. So Mimikyu is down, so not a bad start there. I had to sacrifice half my team, but it was all right. Next Pokemon we got is going to be Urshifu. So Urshifu is going to take tons and tons of damage from the Acrobatics. So we've got a Terror Ride here. So let me give you this Honchkrow set. It is max attack and max speed Jolly Nature. Honchkrow's speed is very, very bad. It tends to rely on Sucker Punch a lot. So I wanted to do a set that would have a pretty powerful attack on there as well. So we got a Timmy Terror Urshifu there with an Aqua Jet, and Acrobatics is going to demolish that. Even, I know they tried to go for more power, and they probably guessed I'd have a flying move, but that still wasn't enough to be able to live that attack. So now I'm going to get a Moxie, which is great. So I've got +3 in attack. So Swagger, +2, Moxie +1. So instantly you've got +3 in attack. So now we've got Lunala coming in here. I was thinking I've got Sucker Punch and Night Slash. Both of these moves are going to be pretty good. Should I go for Sucker Punch, or are they going to try and outspeed me? What are they going to do? So they went for Moonlight instead. So maybe they were checking that I had Sucker Punch. So now I'm like, do I go for Sucker Punch again, or I go for Night Slash? What's going to happen? So I went for Night Slash, and Lunala is going to get absolutely dominated there. So that's 3 Pokemon down now. We've got a Honchkrow sweep going here. Last Pokemon is going to be Miraidon. Now, Miraidon was obviously a very, very heavy counter to this team. I went for Sucker Punch here, and Miraidon got completely and utterly destroyed. And after that, I don't think they were very happy, because they salty rage quit. That switch snapped in half like a fresh Kit Kat. So let's get on to battle number 2. Let's get a like for that salty rage quit there, and let's get on to battle number 2 here. Next battle here, this one is against Naved or Navet. I don't really know how to say that. I've got my Murkrow set here. So this time I'm going to be able to probably show these Murkrow off a little bit more, because last time they got completely destroyed. So Gengar lead here. This is obviously a Prankster Murkrow. So this set is Prankster. Everlight is the item, and we've got EV Spreaders, Max Health and Max Special Attack, Modest Nature. So it's a Tailwind Sweeper essentially. With 91 base in speed, I don't need to put any EVs really into their outspeed, majority of things. So Gengar, interestingly enough, is going to set up Toxic Spikes. Not sure why they did that. And they're going to die to Dark Pulse. So that's the end of Gengar. Maybe they expected me to go for a Terra that wasn't flying, which I guess is fair. Next Pokemon we got here is going to be Sneasler. Now, Sneasler is not going to like getting hit by Air Slash. I thought, well, I guess I can go for that. So going for Air Slash, Sneasler gets dropped there. So things are going pretty good so far. I've taken out 2 Pokemon with my more offensive Murkrow. Next Pokemon is going to be Ceruledge. Now, at this stage, my Dark Pulse, I thought I'll go for that, and then I can set up Tailwind again. So I was able to live that attack, which is really good. That actually outsped me under... Wait, no, my Tailwind ended there. That's right. I was like, how did I get outsped? So I reset the Tailwind up there because I was happy with how Murkrow performed there. It'd taken a lot of those Pokemon out already. So Bitterblade is going to take out Murkrow, which is cool. I've got, 3 other Pokemon that can come in and feint this, right? The worst I could probably do is go for a Shadow Sneak, but that's going to do, very, very limited amounts of damage. So bringing in my Honchkrow here, this is the physical set. And I thought, well, this will be pretty good because, they've got 3 Pokemon left after this. I'll go for Night Slash. I don't even need to bother going for Swagger. Finish them off and get a Moxie, right? That should be a good idea. So interesting enough, they're going to go for a Terra Fire. And maybe they're expecting to outspeed me or live this attack. But Night Slash is no way that's going to live a Night Slash. And I had Rocky Helmet, so I think it might have been a bulky set. But after losing their Ceruledge there, I don't think they were very happy, and they Salty Rage critted it as well. So we had a double baby bottle in a row. I guess they didn't like losing to a little Murkrow and a Honchkrow. Let's get on to battle number 3 here. Hopefully we can actually finish a battle this time instead of having rage quits. So first Pokemon, of course, is going to be Rayquaza. And Rayquaza, this is my Perish Song set. So this Rayquaza is obviously going to be very, very problematic, right? It's going to hit hard, and it's going to be faster than me. So we got Rayquaza using Dragon Ascent on my Murkrow, and that critted me. That actually did matter, because I was running a bulky set. I had 252 in defense, 252 in health, 128 defense, 120 in special defense with Impish Nature and Everlight. So I believe I would have lived that. Wouldn't have lived it amazing, but I still would have lived it. So going to the second Murkrow here, I was like, should I go for Tailwind? Let's get that up. I'll try and give my Honchkrows a fighting chance here because at the moment the odds are really against me. So Rayquaza is going to go for Outrage, and I lived on Raw 1 Hell. So definitely I would have lived on my bulky one. That was my sweepy one with max health there. So go for Dank Pulse there. Great damage on Rayquaza. No flinch, sadly. I was hoping for that, and Murkrow is going to go down. The merch was available there anyway, people. So half my team is once again gone, and I'm thinking, how do I catch up with this? How do I get back into this battle? So I have a physical Honchkrow, as you know, but I also have a special one too. So bringing in the special one this time, this is going to be a Dark Pulse, Hurricane, Terra Blast, Ground, and Nasty Plot set. So Rayquaza is going to swap out there, and we have something the Gourmet. Of course, Azumarill the Gourmet. So this is a big counter to my team as well. Like anything like Play Rough is going to be really nasty. So I've got Hurricane at +2. I'm feeling pretty good. I reckon that's going to hit really hard. So this Honchkrow, max special attack and max speed, tip and nature. Hurricane lands, and I get a fat crit there on Azumarill. So no way that's living. This one has Super Luck as the ability, which virtually gives the critical hit chance of 1. With a scope lens as the item as well. So in comes Zacian. Obviously, Zacian is a very easy counter to this team. All I've got really is Terra Blast Ground. I was like, well, this is really my only hope here to do some kind of damage, unless I rely on my physical one and go for Swagger, but will I outspeed? It's very doubtful, so I got to try something, right? So I go for that Terra Ground, and we got a special says, so I've seen quite a few mix set lately. I mean, that Moonblast would have one-shotted me easy, right? So I went for the Terra Blast on Zacian, and I actually took Zacian out, which was incredibly awesome. And I got a crit too, so I've got a 50% chance to crit at the moment, which is pretty good. So very impressive stuff so far, getting rid of especially Zacian. Next Pokemon is Ting-Lu. Now, Ting-Lu's got Vessel of Ruin. Speaking of Ting-Lu as well, we defeated the Shiny Raid challenge thing. So Ting-Lu will be a Shiny. You'll be able to get yourself on the 4th of September. It should be appearing in the mystery gift, right? And then we're on to Chi-Yu. We're on to the last one. So we've got a Terra Poison Ting-Lu, which doesn't really surprise me. Incredible damage there from Honchkrow. Really, really good damage. And I also got a Confusion too. So Ting-Lu is going to have a berry, which is going to be a Citrus Berry. Unfortunately, I was hoping it didn't have that. Now, I really, really wanted them to hit themselves a Confusion here. However, it's going to have Stomping Tantrum, and it's going to be able to finish me off. Almost. So I can go for Terra Blast or Dark Pulse. It's like, I'll just go for Terra Blast. That's all good. I could have actually risked going for a nasty plot there, but I didn't want to because Hurricane, mine and missed there. So bye-bye Ting-Lu. That was definitely invested in bulk, as most Ting-Lus are. So I was like, does Rayquaza have extreme speed? What are they going to do here? So in comes Annihilate. I was like, all right. I mean, I've got a Hurricane. You can't go for Terra. Hurricane's going to land. I outsped, and that's the end of Annihilate. Crit or anything did. Oh, I didn't get a crit that turn. So that's down. So I was like, okay, cool. 2 Pokemon to go. Can we get this W? Next Pokemon is going to be the homie Charizard. It's unfortunately, it's not the rare shiny Charizard. It's the normal one. Now, I've got Dark Pulse here. I thought, well, that'll hit pretty hard. But Charizard outspeeds me, which I did expect. And Honchkrow is going to go down. So I was like, that's a bummer. But I still have my physical Honchkrow left. So I thought, all right, I've got my physical set. Have I got enough power to take out that Rayquaza as well as Charizard? So like, do I go for Swagger and go for that combination? So Charizard's going to outspeed me, and I only narrowly live there. So I went for Swagger on Charizard. I needed some power on Sucker Punch in case I needed. Oh, I had to outspeed and one-shot the Rayquaza, right? So I've got the Mirror Herb here. I'm ready to go. I'm like, okay, I can finish this battle off now. This is good. We can get the dub. I've got Sucker Punch. Charizard lives on 1 health. You wouldn't read about it ahead of Focus Sash. Oh my goodness. It's like, come on, hit yourself, hit yourself, hit yourself. Come on, Charizard. You know you want to hit yourself, but Charizard lands a Hurricane. It's like, come on. So, come on, like, they didn't even go for Flamethrower. They went for Hurricane. So, I was a bit of a salty finish there, but it's still a very good battle. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. Not sure of my opponent's trainer name there. If anyone wants to translate them, that would be awesome. All right, let's get on to battle number 4 here. We've got Sally the Worn Out. Oh, okay. Oh, I don't know. Not sure that's meant to be. Anyway, so Orthworm's going to be the lead here. I figured they'd lead with that and try a Shed Seal, right? So I'd leave with my Murkrow, and I went for Heat Wave, almost taking it out in one shot. So Citrus Berry, but they're not going to be able to get a Shed Tail off. So that was fairly obvious what they were going to try in the team preview. So now they've got an option of just doing probably some small damage with like Body Press or something like that, or setting Stealth Rock up. I've got the option of setting up Tailwind and just finishing him off. So I went for Tailwind there. I'm pretty confident I can leave any attack that Orthworm, kind of throws at me. So here comes the obvious Body Press. That does just a little bit under half, which is cool. I can go for Dark Pulse here and finish them off. So that is the end of Orthworm. So a pretty solid start there with my Murkrow. Now, I thought that said Celesteela for a second. I'm like, oh, not that thing again. So this was a ginormous counter as well. So this person had a lot of good counters to my team. So I had to try and go for some scumminess here, but Clefable's tanky and it's got Moonblast. It's a very, very good counter. So that is the end of Murkrow. Now I've got 3 Pokemon left. They've still got 5 more Pokemon remaining too, and they've still got some very, very good counters. This also has leftovers, so I thought, all right, something has to happen here. I'm going to bring in Murkrow, and I'm going to try and Perish Trap this. I don't know whether this is going to work or not. I want to see what they've got their EVs invested in and stuff like that. I wasn't sure how well I was going to, tank these moves. So Clefable's going to go for a Thunder Wave against me. One thing about Murkrow as well, it actually got nerfed quite heavily because it used to get Roost, which was great. Like Prankster Roost was really, really good. And I like to run that on the Perish Trap set. You can't anymore. So that was a very, very big nerf down to it. So the Tailwind is now gone. They're going to swap out the Clefable. They're just going to hold on to that like a first newborn baby for like my other Pokemon. And we've got Scarlet coming in here, which probably is one of the least threatening Pokemon on the team. Unless they've got Triple Axle. That's what I was thinking. Maybe they had that or Play Rough. That's really all it can do to me. So I've got Foul Play. Here comes the obvious Triple Axle. And then the Protein, but it missed, right? So I was actually able to get a Foul Play off here, and Foul Play did really, really good damage. So that's great, because now I'm going to fake this turn anyway. So I'm like, I'll just go for Foul Play again. There's no point me conserving this. Here comes the U-turn, and I leave U-turn, really well there, obviously. So Meowscarter is at least on a lower amount of health, so that's good, right? So here comes the Clefable again, which I already knew they'd swap back in. And I'm just going to do minimal damage with Foul Play there. My only chance of even getting back into this battle was my Honchkrow, my physical one. And it carried, as you guys know, it carries a lot of risk using Swagger. But that was the only way I could even give this opponent a decent run with all the counters they had, right? Plus they brought their entire team as well. So I've got Swagger as my only option, and I've got Terra Flying Acrobatics. That was the only way I seen myself getting back into this battle, because if I brought my other Honchkrow in, I could try a nasty plot, but was I going to live it? Even if I did, it was going to be very, very small amount of health, and I didn't have priority on this. So I thought, all right, let's go for it. So first things first, I'm going to go for a Terra Flying on my Honchkrow, just in case Swagger fails me and Clefable is able to get a Moonblast off, which is pretty likely in this case. At least I knew I could live a Moonblast from Clefable there. So Clefable's got them chickens flying around. I'm going to get that +2 in attack. Now the thing about this set is it builds really fast. So if you get a Swagger and you get a Moxie, instantly you've got +3. So it's already rolling. Clefable hits itself in confusion there, which is good, because it could have been going for a different move as well. So now I've got +2. I thought, well, I've got nothing to lose. I have to go for Acrobatics, right? So Clefable's going to get dropped there. So that was really, really good. So bye-bye Clefable. So that's one counter gone. Now we've got the Meowscarter. So I haven't showed I've got Sucker Punch yet, but Sucker Punch at +2 will be enough to take this out. So I went for that, and that's going to take another Pokemon out. So that's another Moxie. So I've got +4 in attack now. So this thing is absolutely rolling right now. Next Pokemon we got here is going to be Cerulege. So I thought, all right, obviously there's a good chance of it having Focus Sash. I've got Night Slash and Sucker Punch. I've got Acrobatics. I thought, well, I'll just go for, I won't go for Sucker Punch yet, because they may try Sword Dance, which they did. So that is probably a pretty good indicator that they do indeed have Focus Sash. So I wasn't sure whether they had Shadow Sneak on this set. It's a pretty good idea. But then they had Weak Armor too, so I thought maybe they won't have it. They might have a different move. Not Flare Blitz. Bitter Blade is very good for Weak Armor. I'll try going for the Sucker Punch, right? They're going to go for the Shadow Sneak. That almost takes me out, but it's not enough. Unfortunately, Sucker Punch is going to fail there because I'm slow, right? Now, in this case, I had to hold on to that Honchkrow because I couldn't let it faint, right? I had to go into my special one. So I knew that Shadow Sneak, I'd be able to live that pretty well because I resist it, and I'd be able to finish this thing off because I should be able to, get around it. So another Shadow Sneak there, and this is a special set, so maybe they were afraid that I was choice or I had Sucker Punch as well. That's what I was thinking. It would be a good bluff there, and maybe they fell for that bluff because I think Bitter Blade, they would have outsped with Bitter Blade, right? Next Pokemon is Slowking Galar. This thing is pretty bulky. I do have Dark Pulse though. I was thinking, I guess I could try and go for a flinch there or go for some damage here. I don't know why I decided to go for Hurricane there, but I managed to get a confusion. I was thinking maybe they had something like weakness policy or something weird like that. So I got the Hurricane damage off, and it actually hit itself for confusion, and which is pretty cool. So now I've got Dark Pulse to go for. I could try and get a flinch here. It lives on 1 health. I'm like, oh. So I got the super luck crit. I mean, there's a 50% chance to crit, which is really high, and they're gonna get Sludge Bomb off and finish me off. But that was still a pretty good effort there. So I've already taken out 4 Pokemon, you know, the same amount of Pokemon that I've brought. And I've got Honchkrow left here. So it's like, good, I can take out 5. And I can get a Moxie with this too, because they won't be able to outspeed. And their last Pokemon is very frail, so I knew they wouldn't bring that in. So that is the end of the Slowking Gala. Last Pokemon on their team is going to be T-type. Of course, that's Poltergeist. It's just going to be a standard Shell Smash set. I mean, all of their sets were standard anyway. And we're going to go for Night Slash. Nothing I can really do there because it's got Focus Sash. So they had a double Focus Sash on their team, which is a little bit unlucky because I think I would have ended up sweeping them earlier on. But anyway, a really cool battle. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I pushed their team to the absolute limit there with only, with only 4 Pokemon. It was very, very impressive. Hope you guys enjoyed this Honchkrow set. Give it a try. It's not bad. I'm not saying it's going to work all the time there, but it's got some very, 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 very good. Once you get 1 Mirror Herb and you got 1 Moxie, it's pretty powerful, right? Next battle, this is battle number 5, I believe. We are battle Mr. T, and we have a Zeb Streaker lead here. You don't get to see Zeb Streaker very often. So I've got Parasong and Mean Look. I thought, well, I could try Mean Look, then Parasong, or I could try Parasong, then Mean Look. The thing is, I don't have Roost on this set, right? Which really, really makes this Parasong set hard to get KOs with, especially if they're super effective moves. So we got a Charge Beam here. Charge Beam does almost half my health, and it gets a special attack. So I'm like, yep, I'm not going to live the next attack. I'm very, very doubtful I'm going to live that, unless Charge Beam misses or something like that. So I thought, look, I could go for a Terra Dark here, then go for Mean Look and try and spam Protect. That's really all I could try and do, right? So we're going to give that a go. So we got that Terra Dark. We're crossing our fingers we leave there. I should be able to because it's not going to be super effective, right? Unless, of course, Zeb Streaker uses another move. So by going for the Mean Look, this was good on opponent's last Pokemon, but it was difficult with only 4 Pokemon. Unfortunately, it's going to go for Overheat, and, you know, with that extra base power, you know, compared to Charge Beam, that is actually going to take my Murkrow out. So my Murkrow is down, and I lost my Terror as well. So an awful, awful start to the battle. Things are not looking good here. Zeb Streaker has a Jetpack as well, so I guess that's a way of hindering like drops there. This is the same team as well, I believe, if you can guess what it is. Next Pokemon is Honchkrow. This is my special set. I've got Hurricane here, which is going to be fairly effective, and I've got Nasty Plot. I thought, you know what, I'm going to go Hurricane. Let's see what the damage is going to be first, right? Really good damage. I was happy with that. And I actually got a confusion a lot with this Honchkrow, like tons and tons of the time. Now, Wochin, I was thinking, well, you're not going to really do much to me in terms of damage, and it got a knock off there. So it knocked off my scope lens. So now I've only got I don't have a 50% chance to crit anymore. So second Hurricane is going to be enough to take out Wochin, you know, critical hit or not. But I wasn't really worried about that Pokemon, you know. I had a good type advantage against it. It wasn't that scary. Next Pokemon is going to be Faradraft. So Faradraft, I can hit with Dark Pulse, and I'm just going to try and get a flinch here. Really, really big damage there. And it's a Body Slam set. I was like, wait, did it miss? But it had Normal Gem as the item on top of it. So I had a fair bit of health there. But, you know, with Normal Gem, that was, you know, I wasn't going to be able to live that. So it's a physical set. So now I've got 1 Honchkrow and 1 Murkrow left. So I thought, all right, I've got an idea. I was like, I've got Night Slash. I can take that out and get an easy Moxie. So let's do that first. And then maybe I can try my Swagger combination. You know, because it's going to be a little bit too risky to go for Swagger on a physical attacker. So in comes Flamigo. I've got Acrobatics, but that's not going to do anything. I've got Swagger, so I thought, oh, I'll go for Swagger. And then it used Endure, so I'm like, oh, that's good. That's actually good. So obviously the set was something like, I don't know if it was Weakness Policy or a Berry or, you know, anything like that. But I got a free turn, so I actually got a free +2 in attack there. So with Moxie, now I've got a +3 in attack. So this is going to hit really, really hard. Now, they're going to have to chance going for a Swaggering out, but then they outsped me. I was like, oh, they're going to go for Endure again. And they hit themselves to Confusion. So I'd say they were going for Endure a second time. second time there. They might have been going for an attack, though. I'm not too sure, but that's bad for them because now I've got +4 in attack, right? So this thing is absolutely juiced up. So in comes the Skeledirge. I've got Acrobatics. I've got Night Slash. I mean, both of these moves are going to be, hitting really, really hard. I know I can outspeed Skeledirge because it's not very fast. So I can go for Night Slash here, and Night Slash does not take it out because it is an unaware set, right? So even with all those boosts, it does some pretty good damage. So it's got Citrus Berry. This set's going to be a physical set, so it's Temper Flare. That does a pretty good amount of damage for a physical set, actually. Pretty impressive. So Night Slash is going to be pretty close to taking it out here. Judging on the damage I did before, that was like, that was pretty much a 2-hit KO. But unless I got maximum damage, that was my only worry there. So Skeledirge is going to go down, and that was obviously it wasn't a crit either. So then there's 2 more Pokemon. There's that Zepstreaker, and we've got Hippo here. So now I've got +6 in attack. Now this thing is completely ramped up to the max. Here, Powdon is it's a very bulky Pokemon, but with +6 in attack, there's no way it's going to live that. So bye-bye Hippo. Got some sand damage, but Honchkrow's not on a low amount of health there. Last Pokemon is the Zebra. Zebra is faster than me, but I do have Sucker Punch, which I hadn't even revealed Sucker Punch yet because I was like, that's one thing with Night Slash and Sucker Punch. If you use them both, sometimes you can keep the opponent guessing whether you've got one or the other. Sometimes you can carry both. So we got a Terra Flying set, but Sucker Punch is obviously going to take that out. I think I already had +6 before that. And that is the end of the battle. So we managed to get a Honchkrow sweep with the Mirror Herb. But I managed to sweep a lot of teams with this set. A ton of teams. Or a good half sweeps or 3/4 team sweeps as well. So when it worked really well. Let's get on to battle number 6 here. We've got another random battle. We've got 8 battles today in the video. If you're enjoying the video so far, if you want to support the channel, hit that like button. Tell me what you think of Murkrow and Honchkrow. I'd love to hear your feedback. Or what do you think could make this Pokemon better? A Mega? A different form? A different move or ability? Tell me what you think in the comment section. All right, Zacian's the first Pokemon, which totally is an encounter to my entire team. So I was like, that's the end of Murkrow. We're going to swap in Murkrow number 2 here. Now, this is my Tailwind set, so I thought... No, the first one was my Tailwind set. So that's gone. Now, I guess I'll go for Perish Song here. That's my next best thing I can do. Play Rough is going to demolish me. So this was just such a huge counter. So I'm wondering how I'm even going to get around this. I'm like, man, what am I going to do? I've lost both my Murkrows. I have put a Perish Song up, but there was no chance for me to lock them in and stall it down to a low amount of turn. So bringing in Honchkrow, I've only got one option here, people. I've got the Swagger Mirror Herb combination again. It's funny, I had to rely on this a fair bit. So going for Swagger on a Zacian, which is definitely not a smart thing to do, I can tell you that, but I was desperate, man. I had nothing I could do here. So we got that +2 in attack, which is fine, but it's sort of like the least of my worries here. I was worrying whether Zacian, what it was going to do this turn. Zacian hits herself for confusion. Look at the damage, really sweet damage. I'm like, great, this is really good. Now I've got the option to go for Terra Flying Acrobatics, and I'm feeling that. So I reckon that's going to be really, really good because +2, no item, Acrobatics, Terra Flying. It's going to be a pretty powerful move there. And Honchkrow's got a good... Actually, a really decent attack stat as well. It's actually, it's funny because it attacks more than its special attack by 20 base, but a lot of people like using the special side. So Zachary Zacian's going to get completely demolished there. That confusion damage helps so much, and that's another Moxie, right? So that's now +3 in attack. This was an interesting play. So I figured that Acrobatics would do not so much. Night Slash would do a good amount of damage, but would it take it out? Would it actually take it out? Now, we've got a Terra on Garganacl. I'm like, this would be funny if it was Ghost. And it was Ghost. I'm like, yes, this is really, really good. Now, Ghost was an interesting play. So I'm like, are they going to have Purifying Salt with Ghost? This would be great if it does, because no Sturdy. I didn't take it down to the Sturdy, and then they got a Curse off. I'm like, no! So with Curse, that's going to turn it with a ghost type using curse, that's going to feint it, and it's going to put a curse on my Honchkrow, which is going to do a quarter damage every single turn to me. But it still wasn't a bad result, right? Next Pokemon, of course, another counter. They also had 6 Pokemon on the team, but they didn't bring... They had a grass Pokemon, and they also had a... Actually, they had 2 grass Pokemon, but of course they never brought those 2. They brought Mimikyu and Zacian, and they also brought all the counter Pokemon to the battle, right? You have to laugh when people bring 4 Pokemon, then they bring all the counters and leave like the ones out there that aren't counters. Always gonna laugh at when people do that. So we got a Mimikyu here. It's gonna get its disguise busted, and I'm gonna get hit by the curse there again, which sucks. But Mimikyu. I've got Sucker Punch from Mimikyu. I was like, that might be enough, but it's got Shadow Sneak, and it's naturally a faster Pokemon than Honchkrow, sadly. So that is the end of the Honchkrow. If I had that Tailwind up, it might have been a bit different. But anyway, my last Pokemon is the Special Honchkrow. Now, the last Pokemon didn't worry me too much, but Mimikyu did. The last Pokemon couldn't really come into this at all. I went for Hurricane, but they're going to outspeed me, play rough. And, that's the end of the battle there. So they had all the advantages they could ever want in the world there, and just scraped the win at the end there. Very, very lucky there, having all those advantages. Really, I almost used 1 Pokemon against their entire team when you think about it. Pretty impressive. Let's get on to battle number 7. Oh, a shiny Dragonite. That's absolutely disgusting. Next battle here, we have a Kyurem lead. Now, Kyurem Black, well, that's an enormous counter to my team, right? A bulky Pokemon, extremely hard hitter. What can I do, right? I thought, I'll go Parasong or I go Foul Play. What do I do? Now, the interesting thing here is they swap, so maybe they were scared of something like a Prankster, Thunder Wave or something like that. So in comes Ho-Oh. Now, Ho-Oh is a hard physical hitter most of the time, and it's very tanky as well. So, like, this is actually quite good, because if I can get Mean Look up against this, I might be able to use, Protect and try and feint this Pokeball, right? So I went for the Mean Look. So Ho-Oh is now trapped in, and if it's got Regenerator as well, I can get rid of it. So here comes the Sacred Fire. I lived that very well, but they got a lucky burn, right? So that's turned a 2-hit KO. Sorry, a 3-hit KO into now an easy 2-hit KO. So I was pretty bummed about that. So it's like, all right, it's fine though, because I can go Protect. So go Protect this turn. Ho-Oh can't swap out, and then it's gonna be a double KO. So it wasn't a bad result. I might have been able to squeeze a little bit more out of this Murkrow, but then again, I would have had to swap another one of my Pokemon into a Sacred Fire. So maybe you had to feint this turn regardless, So we're both down to 1 turn each. There wasn't much point in me going Protect here. Really, I was going to feint regardless. I had Foul Play. I think I just went for Foul Play, and I did 3 damage, so that was handy. So that's the end of Murkrow, and that's also the end of Ho-Oh, right? That's really, really good. I was glad to get rid of that, because that was just a bulky Pokemon, right? So bye-bye Ho-Oh. I finally got myself a Parasong KO there. I wish if it had Roost, it would just be so much easier to do. So next Pokemon is the Tailwind set. As you guys have got to see, now they're going to bring this back in. So my thought processor here is this going to be a physical set, or even a special set's going to be a threat to this team. Let's be real. So setting up that Tailwind there, which is going to help out my Honchkrow. Here comes the Icicle Sphere sets. All right, fair enough. You've got the your bulky Icicle Sphere, or even the sweeping Icicle Sphere set, probably like Loaded Dice or something like that. Yeah, I have to get rid of this now. I only have one option, and you know what that one option is? It's going to have to be Honchkrow with Swagger again. So you don't know how many times I have to rely on this. So bringing in Honchkrow, I'm thinking there's no way I can take this out from here. I have to go for Swagger. I've got to get my attack boost. I really do like this Honchkrow set. It's my favorite set that I've probably come up with it too. Give it a try if you like Honchkrow. Not saying it's going to work every time, but man, when it works, it just completely dumpsters the opponent. The only thing you'll have problems with if the Pokemon are faster than you and you have to start relying on Sucker Punch a little bit. That's when it gets sticky, right? So we've got a Confusion hit, which is brilliant. Now I can go for a Terra Flying on Honchkrow. The EVs, I'm pretty sure I told you guys what the EVs were for this. Jolly Nature, and max attack and max speed. So it only has 71 base speed, which is terrible. Murkrow's got 91, so this got a big speed drop, you know, when it evolved, which sucks, you know. If it had 91, it'd be a much better Pokemon. It wouldn't have to rely on Sucker Punch so much, because that's Honchkrow's biggest thing there with the physical set. So we've taken out a Kyurem Black, a Ho-Oh, in comes Kyogre. I was like, Kyogre's going to take the full load here. That's like a mega attack. Kyogre completely and utterly dumpstered. So we're taking out this Timmy legendary team here with a PIMPNITE special here. Next Pokemon's going to be Koraidon. I was like, oh no, this is very bad. So Koraidon, as you know, is very, very fast. And the Tailwind, well, it's now gone, right? So here comes an Outrage, and unfortunately, Outrage is going to one-shot me. Koraidon is such a powerful Pokemon too. I wasn't going to live that. Plus, Honchkrow's not very bulky either. It's got a good base stat and health of 100. I'm pretty sure it's 100. And the other defense and special defense are like Garbo. They're like 50 or something like that. Anyway, my next Honchkrow got dropped, and Koraidon, they didn't have to work at all there in the end. But I pushed their team to the limit there, considering what they brought. If they didn't have Koraidon, their last two Pokemon were cooked, right? So that was actually a very, very close battle, considering they're probably a lot closer than what the score dictated. Last battle we have today, this one is against Kottmeistern, and we have, I'm not sure if this is a team, but we have an interesting team regardless. So we both got 4 Pokemon. We got a Torterra lead. Now, Torterra is going to go for Superpower on Murkrow, and that did a lot of damage. I was like, man, that hit hard. So I've got Tailwind up. Now, Torkoal is going to have, I was like, is that White Herb or a Jetpack? So it's got a Jetpack, so it's going to be ejecting out of the battle, just like one of those old VHS tapes, you know. That's probably a little bit before you guys' time, you know. You guys are probably the DVD sort of thing. But good times, you know, when you think about stuff in the past, you realize how old you are. So we got a Terrapagus here. It's got that Terra Shell. We're going to break that and go for a flinch. I got a throbbing 2 damage on that, and it's going to have Ancient Power, which sucks. So Ancient Power is going to fake my Murkrow. I was really worried. If this got a boost, I don't know how I would feint it, because it's already really tanky. So no boost there, thank goodness. Bringing in the Honchkrow now. So, all right, this is prime real estate to go for Swagger, you know. If I can get the Swagger and go for Acrobatics, I should be okay. I know that I can live an Ancient Power too, unless it's got another move or it's a mix set or something. Yeah, you never know, right, what's going to happen in the Pokemon battle. So we got that Mirror Herb there. I really also hope, speaking of Mirror Herb, right, I like the effects of it in battle. I hope they keep the Mirror Herb effects of egg moves and stuff as well in the next games, like Gen 10. I really do hope they keep that, because I believe it was a step up too. Not so much Picnics. I didn't enjoy Picnics. I like the bicycle simulator more, but I like the I did like Mirror Herb there. I thought it was interesting. I guess you could implement that with the like the breeding and the daycare, because you could just make them hold the Mirror Herb the same way, right? Anyway, we got some confusion happening here, and it's got Rapid Spin. It is a pure and utter disaster. So that is the end of Honchkrow. Things are not looking good. I'm going to get swept by a Rapid Spin Terrapagus here. It's not good. So that is going to be the end of the Tailwind too. So I brought in my next Honchkrow. My Murkrow here. Hopefully I don't get murked, you know. So we got that Parasong. It's like, oh, I could go for Foul Play. They snap out of Confusion and go for Rapid Spin. Lucky I'm running a bulky set, because that would have done a lot more damage there. So in comes the Foul Play, and Terrapagus lives on 1 health. Like, of course it does. I mean, at least I can plug my merch there, you know. So we got another speed boost from Terrapagus, and we got Foul Play. Foul Play is going to take it. I think that, you know, with the Everlight and stuff, I think Tri-Attack probably would have done close amount to damage it, depending on what their EV spread was, of course. Next Pokemon we got is going to be Dreadnought. I've got Foul Play and I've got Parasong. I thought I'll go for Parasong, right? Just in case this has a setup move like Shell Smash, because that was one good thing about Dreadnought. It did get Shell Smash. This one's going to have counters. I'm like, oh, okay, fair enough. So I thought, I've got Parasong going. I guess I could trap it in with Mean Look and then spam Protect. That'd be awesome, right? That'd make it like a nice salty KO. However, Dreadnought's going to swap out, and the homie Torterra is going to come back in, sadly. Now, I went for Mean Look here, and, well, I can't really do a lot. I can really only go for Foul Play. at this stage too, I'm not really wanting to conserve this Murkrow at all because I need to think about my special Honchkrow in the back and what it's going to be able to do. So, Foul Play, great damage on Torterra. Torterra is going to go for Superpower again, and I lived that. Really, really good bulk from Murkrow. Quite a bulky little Pokemon. And, Prankster works very, very well with it too. I'm trying to pitch a Honchkrow with Prankster as well. Would that make it any better though? Prankster, nasty plot, sure, but would that really help too much? I don't think it would bring much to the table for it. Really, I don't think it would, because unless it got some more supporty moves, I don't think it's bringing too much. They have to get some other status moves that are more useful to it, right? So we're going to bring in Honchkrow. It's my last Pokemon. I'm not going to go for Hurricane. I've got Dark Pulse. And I've got Nasty Plots. I thought maybe I could go for a Disrespect Terra Blast there. I couldn't help myself, guys. So I went for a Disrespect Terra Blast. You got to troll the trolls sometimes, right? So we took out the Torterra. We've got. I just understood with it. Now I've done this team myself as well. I think I've done this a couple of times. So we've got Dreadnought and run other Pokemon. Now I do have Terra Ground here, which will be good against it. And I do have Nasty Plot. I was worrying whether I could get a Nasty Plot off here, because I know it's got counter, but that's about it. I don't really know what its other moves are going. It's like, should I go for Dark Pulse to try and get a flinch? Should I go for Nasty Plot? That way I can have some more special attack for the last Pokemon. Because the last Pokemon didn't have the greatest special defense there, but I wasn't sure if I could one-shot yet. So I decided to just go for Terra here just in case. The only thing I was worried about is if it's going to be kind of bad if it goes for a water move, because that's going to be super effective. So I was hoping, well, maybe a rock move or something. That would be better. So go for Terra Blast on the Dreadnought anyway. I was dreading to see what was going to come. You know what I'm saying there? Get that joke. And Dreadnought, lo and behold, gets critical hit it, and of course it's got a Focus Sash. I totally wouldn't have guessed that one with counter. Here comes counter, and it's going to fail there. So that was good. It's funny because I almost ran a mixed set on this Honchkrow. Like I almost ran, I was almost going to put like another physical move on there, but I didn't. So this actually, that's funny, that outsped me, and it went for Super Fang, and Super Fang does half my health. So I guess that's not a bad, backup move for a Dreadnought to have there. At least it, it does something right. So Dreadnought is down. The last Pokemon we've got is going to be Torkoal too. So Torkoal is a good type matchup for ground, but of course we haven't had a Terra yet. So I was like, is this going to have, Terra? Is it going to be Terra Grass like a lot of them are for coverage? Is it going to be a different Terra? Is it going to be Terra Water? Should I go for Dark Pulse? And it's going to be Stellar. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. It's good. It's good to see Stellar. So I'm going to go for a flinch. I decided to go for a Scumbag Flinch there, and it didn't happen. Torkoal is going to unload a Stellar Earth Power, and that's going to take out my Honchkrow. Nothing I could have done there. That is the end of the battle. Hope you enjoyed today's video. If you do, drop a like there. Leave me a comment on these Honchkrows and Murkrows, and I'll catch you tomorrow for some more vids. Peace out, everyone.